Hi, my name is Frank from Son of a Carpenter Incorporated. We are a custom carpentry and cabinet shop, and I had a lot of interest and questions about this vehicle that's behind me. That's a custom project. It's essentially a carpenter's tool van, and I'm going to show you some of the features and what we did in it that are customized for this specific purpose, for this specific customer, and hopefully you'll see some great ideas and we can show you what we're capable of. Before we begin, I want to give a shout out to Mosaic Software, which I am not paid or sponsored by them, but I very much love the software and appreciate how it continues to grow, has excellent technical support. The company listens to what us carpenters and cabinet makers feel we need in the software, and essentially they work with us to try to put those features into the software. And I think it's the only company that I've dealt with that totally supports its customers, communicates, and works with them to grow. And I think that's why they're successful. And without hesitation, I know there's a lot of different software specialties out there, but for a small to medium to even a large production shop, they're an excellent resource. So what we have here today is a 2018 Ford Transit cargo van. This van has been customized and designed to service a carpenter who likes to go to people's homes, install product, do different kinds of services, obviously carry tools, carry supplies, some materials. And this vehicle can be changed and adapted to different trades, and they are not limited. We could design and work with different kinds of vehicles, different brands, different heights, different lengths. Also, we are well aware that there are factory affiliated companies that outfit or equip different kinds of shelving systems and partitions. And while those have their benefits and pros and cons, we felt that with this customer that there were some major shortcomings in the efficiency of the use of the space. Very often the biggest complaint was there was just a lot of voids. Of course, there's limitations on the customizations that you can do to it and how you can adapt it to your needs. And there are some very interesting solutions that we came up with here that I think you will enjoy seeing and perhaps want to include in your own van or in your own projects. This van features customized modular storage solutions with drawers, organizers, customized spaces for specific tools, as well as what's very unique is a whole floor storage system that is also modular. And we will go into details of each specific section to show you some of the things we've come up with in design. Now, every carpenter, electrician, plumber can be accommodated, as well as they will have specific needs, which we can evaluate and design for those specific needs or preferences. What's unique about this storage system that was designed here is that in comparison to the factory affiliated companies, these storage sections are modular with adjustable shelving. They have shelf bin holes so you could reposition a lot of things and reorganize how you would want to do it in the future. There are common sizes which allow you to take a shelf from one side to the other. And also, what we believe took a lot of extra effort and engineering is that we know that work vans are not big square boxes. They have curved sides, sculpted areas, and rather than just put in a straight rectangular box, we have sculpted these panels and these sections to take advantage of the recesses that are, for example, where the window would be if this was a passenger van. And that allowed, in many instances, two major points. One is that we have gained sometimes as much as 3.5 inches of additional space into this recess. So for example, if this is a 12-inch deep unit, we now have an extra 3.5 inches of storage space. And same thing on both sides. But what it also did is these units can be pushed farther to the walls rather than closer to the inside, which majorly increases the cargo carrying capacity of cabinets, materials, other tools and supplies. The designing of this van began with listing the needs of the customers' storage and tools, as well as taking measurements and getting very familiarized with very specific items such as this table saw or miter saws or air compressors. We took physical measurements of the van, discussed some of these features, and then we used a combination of Mosaic software and some good hand sketching and crafting. We have then proceeded to, using Mosaic software, design these modular storage sections, and including the floor, which is a very complicated piece, and then used also the power of Mosaic's CNC programming capability and our CNC equipment as well as other saws, and we have cut these components with precision, repeatability, and I think that's part of the key element. Also, we were able to show, and I will attach some still pictures of what this was looking like in a model, which is very important. If a client's going to be working with us, they can preview, I mean, pretty much true to life, like what this is going to look like, and the proportions are correct. So again, using the software capabilities that we have as well as the advanced tooling capabilities allowed us to do a lot of these awesome things. As we're showing different sections of this tool van, you will notice that there are grab bars, solid aluminum handles that serve two functions, obviously for safe entry into the vehicle, but also they serve as great attachment and strap down or bungee down points for carrying things. For example, here is a ladder, folding hand truck, miter saw table. You will also notice different kinds of hooks that are attached, like the tool belt hook. One of the nice things about making this out of woods and plywoods is that it's very easy to screw pretty much where your heart desire. You can screw in another hook, another clip, another set of D-rings or strap rings, and you do not have to fight with sheet metal. We've done enough of that on our own, building and putting and installing all these components in. The other thing that was surprising that we noticed was when all these elements were put in and bolted with 8mm bolts and sheet metal bolts to the walls and to the floor, it really felt like the van stiffened up. So let me go bring you around the back and show you the right side of the van, and you already saw the table saw station. Above the table saw storage that we have below, above it we have a perfect place for a miter saw. You could even fit a popular sliding miter saw here. And we have perfect places right next to it is different saw blades, knife blades, etc. You can have different things you could put in there that you desire. Continuing with the right side of the van and moving towards the back, behind the saw we have a section with shelves, some drawers. This is a compartment for vacuum with hoses and attachments. There's little space here for tubes and space in the back for tubes and attachments. Also, moving towards the very back here, we have a space for a compressor. We have used eye screws and some bungee cords to make sure things in abrupt turns would not just start coming and flying out. And also, all these tools and supplies fit all the way inside, so that way if cabinets or materials were to be loaded in the truck, there's nothing protruding out. So we've designed these to be deep enough, like I said, for the compressor, nail guns, tool cases, jigsaws, tool bags. And there's like this is an adjustable shelf. Customer wanted it configured here. A couple screws to keep it from, in case you're wondering what keeps the shelves from flying around. And when we move to the very back, we have used this area where it kind of protrudes into the bulged out doors to hang electrical cords on hooks from top to bottom. There's 2 sets of hanging spaces, and again you see the very heavy duty solid aluminum handles that you can really tie a strap or bungee cord very confidently to. And I will emphasize that these storage sections are held to the floor, held to the wall, held into the structural members of the vehicle's frame and structure. As we move to the left rear of the vehicle, you can see that there is a modular section also here. This happens to have a lot of drill bags, a drawer, perfect place for a tool bucket. And one of the things that we thought about, obviously with these cords, is that there is a whole bunch of these commonly used tools that you could reach in and grab without stepping into the vehicle. You just unhook the bungee cord, you grab the bucket, you grab the compressor, you grab the drill bag, you grab the hoses. So there's major benefits, so you don't have to climb in and out of the truck until you need some other specific supplies. As we move towards the front, there's a very wide section here, which could be set up for shelving. As a matter of fact, there's a top shelf here, which has some heavy duty equipment. And this section has been used for sawhorses and stands and props very efficiently. Moving farther forward, there's also another adjustable shelf section, another drawer, more saws, sanding tools. So moving towards the front of the left side of the vehicle, what we have is shelving system that was obviously configured at different positions. There's some heavy duty organizers, and again, this drawer space and these organizer space, they take advantage of the cavity where the window space would be, which a lot of factory associated systems do not do that. They're just straight boxes. So there's just a simple stop lip on the front and back of these shelves, and these shelves are on shelf pins to ease lining them up, and then there's pocket screws that hold them so they don't obviously come sliding around and falling out. Up in this front top left corner, I guess I could describe, these shelves have been actually tilted so that way caulk and glue tubes are not going to fall out, but they're very easy to take in and out. There's some compartments here that have been configured for different glues and liquids and supplies. Obviously, there's drawers here, and many people have been curious how do they function. And these drawers are sculpted for you, for a person to put their hand instead of some kind of hardware protruding out. They're on full extension tracks. This one has tape measures, squares, and various items. And what we have designed is a mechanical lock that basically when you slide the drawer, it lifts up and grabs, so the drawer will not be able to pull out during driving if the vehicle goes around the turn or leans. And to open it, you simply push up on it to release the pin. The drawer slides out, and to close it, you do the same thing. You just push it back. So it doesn't require two-hand operation when you close it. Below here, there's this is a bucket of shim. There's some recessed spaces that have been insulated and put sound dampening on, and we have what looks like tarps and protective blankets here There's still some usable space here. I mean, that space is like easily at least 4 or 5 inches deep, that would normally be covered up by plastic panels if this was a passenger vehicle. And same thing with the front compartment. And in this case, these modules were designed 12, 18, 18, 22. They could be configured various ways based on what the customer envisions that they will store. These heavy duty organizer bins were measured to make sure that they comfortably are accommodated in these sizes that we have here. And I also want to point out, which will be difficult maybe to see if you can pan the camera up, is up here we still have sections that are with a couple partitions where we have caulk guns here, rags, masking tapes. There is still a very nice useful storage up at the very top. Up at the very top is also where the heavy 8mm bolts are bolting and reinforcing this whole structure with the body of the vehicle. And there's just a full length of this along the front to back of the van for storage. One of the last features that we have built into this custom tool van build was putting in this front wall, which has a pass-through in case somebody wanted to carry very long material like crown molding or baseboard sticks. And this wall is sculpted and sealed tight up against the roof area, against the floor area, against the sides, which tremendously reduced the amount of noise, because these vehicles are basically metal shells. So in the back, all that noise, I mean, you can hear the tires roaring on the asphalt. So that tremendously reduced the amount of noise that you would hear as the driver or passenger in the cabin. And it, of course, also reduced how much time it takes if you get up in the front cabin and it's very hot from the sun. I mean, it's very, very quick to cool down, because now you're not trying to cool this whole entire van down. One of the benefits of using the nice wood that we have, 3/4 panels for the most part, and building this custom tool van is that, as I mentioned before, this cargo compartment and passenger compartment is insulated and isolated. And to this nice panel here, we can see there is some file organizers attached, an emergency first aid kit, and various supplies can be attached, like a fire extinguisher, without messing around trying to drill into sheet metal. But the most important thing is also keeps the drivers and passengers cabin super clean and free from all the dust that's floating around in the back. Moving on to a very unique and special feature, which is the floor system. It has been essential to measure, think out, plan out, and use software and CAD capability to plan out different compartments that are the storage sections underneath of this deck. The floor is got a layer of plywood on the bottom, a heavy duty layer of plywood that's varnished on the top. We also put a protective layer here that over the years, as things get dragged and scraped and the floor wears, this protective layer is also not slippery. That could be removed, and new one could be cut and put right back on top of it, and you feel like you have a new floor. If coming down below, what you will see, I'm going to take this broom out, there is 8 foot, about 100-inch long compartments that are, in this case, a couple different sizes. These compartments are used to store handy things that are long, such as some extra 2x4s, extra scrap wood, extra scrap cleats, some spare moldings, various supplies that a carpenter cabinet installer would need. You know that vehicles such as pickup trucks or work vans in the bed or in the back have these wheel humps. We have designed our storage around those wheel humps to minimize how much they interfere and maximize how much space we use. And we've estimated that we're using 97 to 98% of the space fully that's in this cargo bay. And for example, the smaller section before you get to the wheel well serves where we fit the different equipment, like the jack you would need if you were changing a flat tire, and some of those, I would say, automotive emergency tools. On the far right, you have another small compartment. This vehicle is equipped with a towing package, so therefore you have different trailer hitch extensions and balls and locks and those kinds of supplies. With such long tunnels in the floor storage system, we wanted to make sure that an item such as a short stick or a level or a tool would not get lost and be impossible to reach in there. So what we've designed is these little sliding floors with a backstop, which allow for you to pull the entire content of that tunnel out, so nothing will get lost. And then moving on to one of the most exciting parts that everybody looks at and says, oh, what's that? Is these are essentially two storage drawers that we allocated in these far right modules. And they are 90 plus inches long. And as you can see, I can extend. And in this case, there are very long levels, tripods, long broomsticks, looks like crown molding, cutting jigs and templates and things like that. These items that need to be protected and take special storage accommodations, they are conveniently stored in these drawers. As a matter of fact, this whole drawer could be removed and placed on top there. So because this has been cut on the CNC with great precision, for those that are car guys, it's not quite like a piston and cylinder, but it's a nice precise fit. As you can see, it slides in rather easily, not so easily that it will come flying out all by itself. But all this items that are here otherwise would have to be stored on some shelves or laying on the floor. And if you look closely, if you come here, if you look closely, there's still, for the amount of tools and storage and supplies that is in here, there's an incredible amount. Right now I have almost 41 inches from the left edge to the right edge of storage capacity designed in this vehicle. We're going to now move on to the front storage. Continuing with the floor storage system towards the front of the vehicle, the 100 or so inch deep tunnels reach to about approximately here. So what we have done is towards the other wheel well, there's a pretty nice deep compartment for, in this case I see pry bars, some plastic and film, I guess, for protecting the customer space during demolition. This is a drawer that looks like it has a ton of nails in it, and these are 69-inch long drawer compartments that we have put some little subdivisions in that slide out, and I guess you can reach and store all kinds of screws. It shows here, hardware, plumbing, electrical supplies. So these, again, these are items that would be eating up space on shelves and inside the vehicle. And these are items that are, quite frankly, hard to keep organized. So these tunnels could be used for materials, but in this case, because they're such precisely fitted and cut tunnels, we have basically like a very, very deep drawer box in there. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the detailed video that we made of this tool work van. I would like to hear your comments and any suggestions you may come up with in the comments section below. And feel free to share it with your friends and family and anybody that might be interested in this kind of work. And if you hit the like button, that will let us know that you're interested in seeing more special projects. Thanks for watching.